What is happening, everybody? Tyson here with Garage Life RC, and I got some awesome parts in from M2C Racing. If you're not familiar with M2C Racing, they have some fantastic, awesome machined parts to help our vehicles perform better, and that they do. And one of the things with the Traxxas Sledge here is the motor mount, and while I haven't had a ton of different problems with it, getting the mesh set and using the gears that I want can be cumbersome. So I'm going to swap that out for the M2C one, and it gives us that traditional slide style motor mount. It's going to give us more pinion options and security in the motor mounting. Plus my stock chassis here is bent, so I'm waiting on the M2C one, but I'm going to go ahead and get this changed out and kind of show you the process that we're going to take to do that today. Realistically, first things first, we're going to have to take the center diff out and the motor out. Those are the two things that are going to get swapped over. We're going to put a new mount in for the center differential and a new motor mount side. So let me grab some tools here and let's get started ripping this thing apart. So on the top of the diff here, you got a diff cover, and it just takes it's got 4 screws in the top, and that'll pop off, and they're 2.5 millimeter. If I remember right, I think you do have to take the chassis brace off, so let's just pop that out. Up here too, the center to center brace. Otherwise, this top piece is not going to pop off because it's rubbing on the T-bar. Cool lug nuts to get on the tires, right? And I think you only really have to take one side off because it'll slide up enough at that point to get the cover out. You could take both sides off, probably be easier, but I tend to do things the hard way. As you can see, I got a mess in here from last time I went out. Got some rust going from all the awesome bashing that I've been doing lately, but not too big of a deal. And now, be careful that you don't lose your drive shafts, your front and rear. Now we're gonna flip this thing over, and we are going to pull out these 4 motor mount screws, and you're gonna wanna save these screws because you're gonna reuse 2 of them. And I have these Loctited super good, so I'm gonna try to break them loose. And I haven't had the plastic piece in mine in a long time. Don't use it. It wouldn't allow me to gear the way I wanted to. Uh-oh. See, there we go. That one stripped out a little bit. And there you can see we used to grab it. Got that screw right out. That's gonna be trash now. Never gonna wanna use that screw again. And then we're gonna have to take out these 2 here that are holding the center differential in. One, 2, take these 2 out. Now I got some center differential bracket that comes right out of there with those 4. And let's just flip it over and see what we got here. And then let me take the ESC. Now, we'll just unhook, cut this zip tie real quick so this will come apart. There we go. And my chassis, I don't think you can see it the greatest, but pretty dinged up. Pretty dinged up in there. Okay, so now what you want to do is your kit comes with this 1408. Basically, it's going to be a guide. We're going to drill a hole in our chassis. And I believe it's going to screw in just like this or like this. Doesn't really say which side, but it's going on the motor side, so it's going to go right here. So you want to put it towards your motor bolts, and you want to put the text facing down. And I believe what you're going to do is take 2 of your motor mount screws, and you're going to go up through the bottom, basically the top side of the chassis, and you're going to screw these in. So let me just kind of, hopefully you guys can all see this. So we're going to do that. We're going to start this one in. I don't think they really have to be, it's not like you don't need to torque them down or anything. You just want this piece to be sitting on there level, so when you drill through to put the hole in the chassis, that it goes, it's not moving around or anything like that. And get over to this hole, get the motor mount screw through, and then you're just going to twist it in to mount like this. I got so much Loctite on these things. All right, now you're going to want to take the included drill bit that they give you, and you're going to want to drill right through your chassis. Feels kind of sketchy, but it's not. And realistically, if you do any harm, I mean, if anything, you're just putting a hole in it. No big deal, but you're just going to go right here. You can go right through the chassis. There, nice and easy. I guess you could have put this bar on the top of the chassis too. I don't know if it really matters. Hey, we're gonna find out. You could probably put the bar right on this side of the chassis to drill your hole. I don't know if it makes a difference, but together we will find out. I think you're actually supposed to put it on the outside of the chassis. So if I had that problem, I'm sure other people probably do too. And then you're gonna go flip it back over. And what you're gonna wanna do on this side now is you're gonna wanna countersink that hole. And in order to do that, they give you a countersink bit so you can countersink this hole. And the thing to think about this is, like, you don't have to do it all at one time. You just want to go a little bit. There, you can see that I countersunk that hole a little bit. Now, I'm just gonna grab a 3mm and just see like how far it goes in and kind of test it. I think I want to go just a smidge more countersunk. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit there. And then there we go. That sits flush right there. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this piece, it's labeled 1403, and you're gonna go and put this towards the front of your motor. And you want to make sure that, see, this little cutout here is for the center differential, for the bearing that goes in the center diff like that. So you want to make sure that that's facing the rear so you can put your center diff back in. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go right here. You're going to have it placed right here. You're going to use 2 motor mounts on the bottom of up through the chassis, 2 motor mounts on the back, and then one of the included 3mm on the end here. So we're going to just start these by hand here, these 2 motor mount screws. I'd suggest using blue Loctite on it. Mine already have some blue Loctite on them, so I'm not terribly worried about that right now. And I'm going to try to keep my face out of the way, my head out of the way, so you guys can see, hopefully see what I'm doing here. So I'm just kind of tightening these up by hand there. Got that one in. Grab another one and put that one in. So you can see there's still blue Loctite on there, so nothing I'm too worried about. I'll check them after a run, make sure that everything's still tight, but these are, I already got dried Loctite on and it seems like it holds good. All right, so there's that. And then we will have in this little bag that it comes with, we'll have a couple 3mm screws that are countersunk, and they're gonna be 2.0, I believe, 2.0. And you can just put that in that little 3mm spot. Again, I would put Loctite on. And then we're gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna tighten these up. And if you have some 4mm, they're getting a little stripped out past my liking, so I'm just gonna grab some different ones and throw them in. And you can use, as long as they're 4mm, it looks like they have this machined out to fit up a pretty long bolt. So, you know, like the stock motor mount screw is that short. I'm gonna put this in and it fits just fine. So I would, if you have some 4mm lying around, I'd replace them. Then we're going to tighten up this end. Careful not to strip that off. Alright, so as you can see here, we got this all mounted up, feels solid. The next part we're going to have to do is put the other side in, and this is going to be the other side of the center diff that holds it in, and it already has screws in it, so this one's pretty plug and play. I think pretty easy to figure out. You line it up with the holes, making sure that the bearing holder faces the front of the truck this time, so you're facing the other bearing holder, and you're just going to set it in place. Actually, I'm just going to kind of reach underneath, start the screw with my hand so it holds it into place. Once I know it's started, then I'll flip the truck over. It'll just make it easier. Okay, so that one started. Now I can kind of look underneath here and line this one up. And then once you start them with your hands, so you don't cross thread them, you can go in with your power tool if you use a power tool, or your, but again, I wouldn't, if you're using a power tool, it's one of those things you gotta be careful not to go too crazy with. Okay. So I think those right there are good. Then we're gonna grab our center diff, and I believe I lost the rear drive shaft flipping this stuff over. So I'm gonna slide that through and back in where he goes. At some point, I lost one of the rubber boot for the back, so it doesn't hold itself in anymore. But it is what it is. Let's just pull this other side of the center brace off. Making more work for yourself anyway. Now the center brace will come right off. Except for my mount that I have on there. My battery, or my ESC power switch. Alright, now this thing, oh, my rear fell out again. And there we go. So we're center to just fall down into place. All right, so we're just gonna put that, let's see, I'm gonna put that. That doesn't seem right, so let's try this side. That spacer. And then this spacer. There you go with those. They're sitting on there. Now, it does come with 2 screws. Then you can throw this on there. See, that makes a lot more sense. So these 2 little screws are for the center holes, and then the brace comes with longer ones to go down through the plastic and into the motor mount, just like that. Down, turn it in. There you go. I mean, this is some quality machining. Everything just lines up perfect. No issues. Of course, it's M2C. Never really any issues. And then you're going back to 2mm. Again, you probably should Loctite these. I'm gonna go in a little bit of a pattern. I kind of like it without the ESC being mounted up top. I don't know why, it was, to me that just seemed weird. And then you got the 2 shorter screws that the spacer comes with. These actually go right in the center here. And again, you're screwing into plastic on this, so don't over tighten. There we go. Got free moving in there. Looks pretty darn well. Man, I don't know if it gets much better than that. All right, so now really all that's left is we gotta put the motor in. So let's go take it out of this, let's take it out of its cradle. And to do that, you're gonna need 3mm to get that out. And you're just gonna basically take these 4 here. Oh no, it is 2.5. Cool. For some reason it looks like 3 just looking at it, but it's not. I didn't really have anything against the cradle, but man, the 4 bolts in the bottom just wasn't the easiest. So in the process of recording, my camera died, got too hot, go figure. So what I did was put the end on here. I think everybody knows how to do that. Took the side guard off of here, and got a pinion ready. And so at this point, you're ready to slide this in, and you're gonna take 2 of these 4mm screws, and you're gonna go on the top and just start them by hand. So they're in there, but you can still slide your motor back and forth. And again, these, you'll probably want to use Loctite. I'm going to be changing my chassis very soon, and I'm kind of just installing for demonstrations. You see how this can slide back and forth now. So there you go. And then you can also lock it in with a 3mm that they give you. And basically you grab it, you can put your Allen wrench right through the side here, start it in, and this is going to prevent the motor mount from sliding even more. So there, that's in. So now I can put my pinion on and line that up how I want it. And I I put some Loctite in there because, I mean, that's a must. And we're gonna line it up. That looks like about where I'd want it. I'll go back and retighten that later. And then you can see, you can sit and slide your motor however you want. This is the Hobbywing Max HE2. And so now I have it there. Let's kind of feel out my mesh and where I want my mesh. That's where I want it. So I'm gonna just tighten these down by hand. Make sure that the mesh is about right. You want a little bit of play in your gears. You don't want a ton. So once I get all those kind of locked down by hand here, then I'll grab my driver, making sure not to strip the head out. Make sure you're using good tools. Just kind of tighten it down. It's nothing that needs to be twisted off either. Actually, they did give you a washer for the screw, and I didn't put it on. So, my bad. So there you go. This thing feels super solid. So then what you could do is go ahead, put this back in. Like so. Put your side guard back on, and you have the M2C motor mount installed. So I do have the M2C chassis brace as well, or the not chassis brace, the M2C ESC mount that I'll mount my Max AG2 on. So I'm excited about that, and to get that mounted up on here. I'm also excited about their chassis, but for now, that's installing the M2C motor mount. Feels solid, looks good. Super excited about this situation with M2C. So make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up bell if you're liking this video, and check out the website if you need to get some TPU bumper wing mount, Hobbywing Max 8, Hobbywing Max 4, anything like that. Feel free to check out the website. More stuff coming soon. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping by, and have a great rest of your day.